Bodies Podcast, WATP.
Thursday, April 14th. Now, this is the day that Chad and Shuli had a stand-up show in Tampa at Side Splitters. And Chad is doing his thing where he's walking around the neighborhood and live streaming and complaining about me and bragging about buying new gear eventually and all the things that he likes to do.
I got more coming too, by the way. I'm not done. I'm doing a whole studio. I'm not like these dorks like Carl who puts all their time and energy into like production. I do other shit.
Well, that's a weird brag. He's not one of these dorks who puts together a good product for people to enjoy. He's doing other things like drinking and making up stories and lying to people. Also, I'm not as smart as Carl, and I'm not going to make as good career decisions like he does. And I'm not as likable as Carl. So just so you know, I'm going to make a lot more mistakes, and it's going to be a lot more difficult to enjoy my programming. But he's going to let us know he's taken down Steel Toe. That's a done deal because there's a subreddit, so that's a done deal. So now he's going to hone in on me. I am the next target. I better watch out.
Raj says Carl has become everything he's spent years criticizing. I mean, he is legitimately a hack. He is worse than Morning Zoo Ready. He plays song parodies like Bob and Tom, and he's getting exposed. And now that people are kind of moving on from Steel Toe because he got exposed, I'm going to be honing in on Carl. Like, it's time to hone in on Carl. It's time to take a dent out of his Patreon. It's time to fucking expose that dork for who he is.
First off, I'm a hack because I play song parodies and I'm getting exposed for this. I've never tried to hide this. This is not something it's like, holy shit, did you know this guy's running his show like it's a morning radio show? Yes! It's what it's based on, you fucking moron. I'm not, by the way, you're the one copying me with Kumi's Cucks, where you're going on there and you're playing clips and you're goofing on them and you're doing impressions and shit like that. I don't do a lazy read the super chat show. I have a produced show with song parodies and bits and production. That's kind of what it is. All right. So to say that you're exposing me for this, it's been wide open. You're the one who wanted to come on this hack show. It hasn't changed. It's still the same show that it was. But the other thing there is he says he wants, so his goal is for me to make less money on Patreon, which is a weird goal to have, in my opinion. That's precisely why Chad is not successful. You know, he thinks that taking other people down will bring him up, and it's just not the case. Chad will fall faster than anyone because he lacks any type of foundation whatsoever. So he's getting a little bit of juice. Oh, look at me. I'm making fun of Steel Toe, and there's a subreddit that likes that. I'm getting some people watching me and giving me $5. And then as soon as like they move on from that, what are you going to do, Chad? What else you got? Oh, I'm going to go after Carl because he's got song parodies and bits. Yeah, I know. Oh my gosh. Wait until people find out about that. I'm going to be exposed. They're going to find out that I'm running an actual show. Oh, God forbid. And to call me a hack, Chad, I had 2 different people send me the audio of your stand-up show with Shuli where you featured for Shuli because you're a middler, because you feature for people, 48 years old, and that's what you're doing. A Thursday night and you're the feature act. And he has this whole bit. I'll probably play it eventually. He has this whole bit where it's just like, hey guys, everyone should just lie all the time. I tell everyone I'm a dentist. Do you, Chad? A good one. That's pretty good. All right. And then he's going to call me out for another bit that we did recently here.
Did you see Kevin Brennan was on WATP? That was so gay. Carl's a cornball. He's hanging out with potatoes and guys that wear masks, wrestling masks. It's just embarrassing.
Yep. Now you're getting it, Chad. That's correct. I'm not the tough guy, bravado guy. That's you. So meanwhile, you know, you're getting punched out and spitting on people and throwing oil cans. I know none of that actually happened, but that was his story. So yes, yeah, it's kind of a corny show. We like to do fun bits. Having fake Kevin call in was a funny bit. You know, I'm not doing great bits like you where I pretend to quit my show every day and then I'm holding out for more money. Because that's a good bit. That's a real good bit. You know, I'm hanging out with Cardiff and El Harible That's so hack. I mean, I should be hanging out with Tony Mazur and whoever that Tyler guy is. There's the winning formula. Thanks for the advice there, Chad. I know we're going to get into the MLC stuff. I'm just getting through this real quick, and then we'll move on because he's calling me a hack, and then he talks about his stand-up routine. This is pathetic.
Yeah, by the way, if you're coming to the Tampa Side Splitters tonight, I will not be doing the Tampa Walmart on Dale Mabry joke. It's retired. I will do the Kmart Ready joke because I have to get rid of shirts that say Kmart Ready.
Oof. You're doing a bit that sucks because you printed t-shirts with the name of the bit on it. That's Opie level pathetic right there. That's not. I can't believe you're on your live stream calling me a hack and then saying, listen, I can't retire my one bit because I'm still selling t-shirts. There was a time when 75% of those proceeds, those t-shirt sales, were going to his friend in Cleveland who had a car accident. I wonder what's going on with that now. And I wonder how much money he actually grossed for that. I'd be curious to know. I'm sure Chad would be upfront with me and tell me the truth about it. Okay, let's go to, we're going to go quickly here. We're just going to hit the main points. Misery Loves Company on Thursday, the 13th of April. And there's already a thing happening here where Chad's not on the show because he's got the show with Shuli that day. And Kevin is annoyed with Chad. I know it's nothing new, but it's always fun.
Because, and Chad creates a lot of fucking menace. Chad, Chad's problem is he's stupid. Like I told Levy today, he's stupid because he was saying yesterday, he was mad that we have Ray DeVito on Tuesday because he said, I'm the hottest, biggest thing on the internet right now. I'm at war with Cumia. We have him on. He don't even talk about it. He says, oh, well, I know a comic that he did 2 spots and he didn't see Cumia. So that was his big fucking reveal. So then I'm like, Chad, and then he's shitting on the super chatters and, and he's bitching about his money. He didn't get paid on time. And he's always hungry and he's loyal to Tony Mazur with his 20 Patreons. And then after a while, you're like, I don't think Chad can handle the day-to-day of it because he can't, he was with Alan Cox and he got fired there. I think he's self-destructive because, wasn't he talking last week about how he doesn't like the headline, just likes the feature and be done with it? He don't want the responsibility of headlining. I think he can't handle responsibility of anything. No kids, no wife. He barely has a car. He has a bike. He rents from a guy that he met through me, Gladwell Ape. And so he's got a very simple life. And this might be too much for him.
Yeah. And I think Kevin knows Chad better than anyone at this point. He worked with him enough, and he's willing to talk about it. I'd love to have Alan Cox on the show. I'm sure he'd have a few things to say. Obviously, Rover did. People who actually have worked with Chad and know Chad have a lot to say about him. And this whole thing about Chad can't handle responsibility is spot on, 100%. And Chad brags about it. I don't want to buy a house because that's a lot of responsibility. Is it? You're 48 years old. Buy a fucking house. If you say you can afford one, I don't think you can. Prove me wrong, asshole. I don't think you can. But you can't handle that responsibility, owning a home. You don't even have a job. You can be home all the time. You can just deal with it if you need to. So this is great because Kevin really lays in to Chad here. Again, this is from the Thursday show. This is before Shuli and Chad, right before they had their stand-up show at Side Splitters.
Yeah, so I don't know. Corn dip, 49. It's KB out of the Zumock business. I don't make the decisions. Levy makes them. I'm just here. I'm just the host. I don't. Levy was the one who hired Chad. He was brought Chad on. So my hands are tied with this. I don't personally. I don't like Chad. If I had a vote in this, I'd probably say don't bring him back. He's a headache. He can't handle success. He's a fucking loser. He can't handle responsibility. He can't handle 4 days a week. He couldn't handle it with Alan Cox, and then it'll be like the numbers are down. Maybe they will go down. Maybe they'll go up. Maybe they'll still exactly the same. But I'm not going to be held hostage by a fucking loser named Chad Zumock. Let me know how many tickets you sell tonight. Let me know how many people there to see Chad Zumock.
Yeah, that's another funny thing that happened is Chad, I was watching one of his live streams. I think someone sent this to me. It was him saying that there are these 20-somethings at the show who are obsessed with MLC and they were starstruck to see Chad. And they went up and talked to him afterwards. And a guy emailed me. The guy who emailed me that clip goes, I was the only one in my 20s at this show. He's completely full of shit. So Chad's just always constantly lying about how successful he is and how much people like him. Now, that morning, Thursday the 13th, Shuli went on Mike Kelta. And Mike Kelta has a morning show in Tampa that I guess, from what I hear, has a pretty big audience. Pretty big audience for a morning radio show. And what happened was Mike Kelta gave out Kevin Brennan's phone number multiple times while Shuli was on the show during Shuli's segment. And Shuli didn't do anything to stop him. And Kevin's mad about that. We're going to get into this thing with Kevin and Shuli that's cropping up here. But also, Chad kind of instigated it because he texted Kelta Wednesday before that Thursday morning about, Kevin Brennan, you got to bury the hatchet. You got to have him on the show again. So Chad was kind of the one who brought up Kevin Brennan before Shuli's appearance. So we're going to find out more about that in just a moment. But now we're going to go to Friday's show. And this is Friday the 14th. And I guess Chad quit MLC again. I know. It's crazy. You can never predict these things would happen, except for, of course, you can.
All right, Friday show. A lot going on. I just got a text from Chad. He said, I will not be abused like Kevin is doing to me, like my stepfather did to me. Goodbye, everyone. So I hope that's a...
What? I told him, can you just fucking wait? Just fucking
No, but first of all, he did a podcast with his stepdad.
He did?
I mean, that's what he's implying.
He's saying a little too literal.
He said, I will not be abused like Kevin's doing to me, like my stepfather did to me. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye, cruel world. Is he doing a Brody Stevens?
No.
I don't think so.
He's just upset.
I mean, didn't Chad quit on Tuesday and then he quit on Wednesday?
He quit twice Wednesday.
No, but he quit on Tuesday because Ray was here. Then he quit on Wednesday because we took him off the screen.
Wednesday he quit at 11 minutes and 2 hour mark.
Right. But we're supposed to have him on again today as another tryout. I'm not running a fucking daycare center.
Well, I think he knows not to do that anymore. I think I had to talk.
Bob, you say that. I mean, no. He's a fucking idiot. He doesn't know what he's doing. Frankly,
he's different.
No offense, he doesn't know what he's doing. He always has some excuse for why he's a fucking idiot. Stacey Hart is right. Chad can't handle success. He literally can't. He was in Cleveland radio. It's too much responsibility for little Chad.
So you can tell Bob's getting annoyed here. Bob has been talking to Chad behind the scenes and going, Chad, come on, man. We got a good thing going here. A lot of people are watching MLC. We're getting a lot of buzz. Stop being a douchebag. And Chad immediately quits the show again. And this is what I mean by it's getting very repetitive. They can't keep this up where Chad's quitting multiple times per week, multiple times per episode. And then he comes out and it's like, hey, guess who quit? Chad, I got a note from him. Like, okay, fine, I guess. So these are some good points coming up from Kevin. I think he really does nail it when it comes to analyzing Chad Zumock and the loser that he is.
Yeah.
And it gets to the point like, but again, he can't fucking make the show shit because that's what he makes out of everything. Everything that he deals with is shit. So I'm saying he's like the shitty middle that fucks up the show. And then he's like, oh, the headliner couldn't follow me. Yeah, because you turn the crowd into shit. So that's what he's doing with this show. And even though this show is a shit show and it sucks and everybody hates it, it's still we can't let Chad ruin it. I have to ruin it. Chad can't fucking ruin it. And also, like I told you on the phone yesterday, Chad's a loser. But you have to be a functioning loser, like a functioning alcoholic. You have to be a functioning loser. Chad's not a functioning loser. He loses everything, and then he blames everybody else. You know what I mean? He everywhere he goes, he fucking fails, and then he blames Patton Oswalt or Sam Tripoli or whatever the fuck it is. But it's him. Like, I'm a loser, but I'm a functioning loser.
All right, some very good points being brought up here. First off, this idea that Chad turns everything into shit, and to say something like, "Oh, the headliner couldn't follow me," it's like, no, you turned the crowd into shit. You ruined the show because you suck so bad. And Chad is a loser, and you can have losers on shows like this. It's fine. It's fun sometimes. But Chad can't get out of his own way with how big of a loser he is. I don't think in his own head he knows what's a work and what's a shoot at this point. I think Chad's confused as to what he's trying to accomplish and what he's doing. And so here's some truth coming out. And this is, again, from the same episode, this Friday edition, where Chad has quit the show and not coming back.
Oh, fuck Chad. Thank you, S-Bucks. Am I saying that wrong? S-Bucks ambassador?
We'll take that as a
the reason people like the show is because it's like, I don't sugarcoat it. I'd be like, listen, whatever it is, like, it would be great if Chad knew how to do the third mic. Like, it would be great if Chad just knew how to do it instinctively, but like, he don't. So, and then he's not normally on Friday. So for me to like have him on and be like, Chad, all's forgiven. It's like, first of all, I'm never going to be all's forgiven. Like, Chad is still a piece of shit to me from what he did before. And then he's thinking like, like I need him because the show's popular. But it's like, but once I agree to that, then I'm done.
So that's, first off, hilarious point about the fact that Chad's not even good at being a third mic on the show. He's terrible at it. This idea that the only thing that Chad can do is get a black eye or make up sitting down on a black guy's penis, or these stories that he tells are the only thing that makes him interesting. Like, him just being him sucks. Nobody likes it. He's not charismatic. He's not funny. But I love the fact that Kevin's saying, even if MLC needs Chad to have an audience, let's say that's the case, he still would have to get rid of Chad, because you can't rely on Chad for your audience. That's career suicide. He's right. Chad's such a loser. Even if, that'd be like if Howard Stern just had Jeff the Drunk on every day, or Hank the Angry Dwarf every day. And it's like, people are just tuning in for Hank the Angry Dwarf. Oh, where's Hank today? I don't know. We can't find him. He's a drunk angry dwarf. We don't know where he is. Fuck. We got nothing else to talk about. That's Howard's too smart. Kevin's too smart to do that. They're not going to rely on a whack packer to be the sole thing on the show people are talking about or interested in. So Kevin's smart here. I do believe Kevin's a smart guy, and he's realizing that he needs to detach his wagon from Chad Zumock in order to keep this thing sustainable. So we'll see where that goes. I have some questions that we're going to get into. But this is, again, just talking about how, like, what Chad's doing and how he's getting attention, it won't last forever. It actually won't last very long at all.
Greg Lambert, 1499. Chad has brought a lot of buzz to the show with his heel hijinks and compulsive lying, but he shouldn't hold you at gunpoint every time he comes on. He really is a 48-year-old problem child. That's 100% right. I mean, Chad getting a black eye, the numbers were high. Like, the highest numbers we ever had live was when Chad came back with a black eye. So then, okay, but then what? Then what? Then you're going to get another black eye? Or then you're going to be like, I'm at your mercy because you're willing to get a black eye for the show? And then he got a black eye at the sauna. Yeah. And then it's like, okay, all right.
Yeah. So just, again, Kevin's realizing that, okay, I mean, Chad can do something crazy every week or every other week, or how are we going to keep this thing going? Because Chad doesn't have talent. That's the thing. The reason why Chad's the stunt boy on this show, stunt boys don't have talent. They're Stuttering John. Stuttering John was a stunt boy. That's what you get from a stunt boy, is a guy who's willing to just make themselves look like a fool for the benefit of the show. And stunt boys are great. They're fine. But they're not the third mic. Stuttering John was not the third mic of the Howard Stern show. You can't have a stunt boy be on the show all the time, because they're actually not that interesting. They're told what to do, and they do it, but they're not that interesting. Okay, so then, now let's move past Friday. Now it's the weekend. And over the weekend, Chad tweets about quitting or getting fired or whatever he's tweeting about. And I'm just going to use this video that Misery Loves Clips posted on Twitter to show you what we all saw going on here. So he says, Kevin at MLC Podcast wants to save money. He doesn't give a fuck about me or his team. He wanted this. So this is once again Chad using this thing. And he did the same thing with the Alan Cox firing. He goes, oh, I was up for a contract renewal and they were going to have to pay me too much. So they had to fire me. I'm just too successful at this. They had to fire me because I'm making way too much money for everyone. Well, that's not how business works or show business at all, Chad. You don't get fired for being too successful. Just the opposite. So now, Chad is saying, the bottom line is he wants to save money by not having me on. That's a fact. And by the way, when Chad types things like that's a fact, he's so stupid. So you think Kevin Brennan wants to save money? That's why he's not having you on the show. All right, so here's a photo of Chad and Shuli, and it looks like they're deep in a conversation here, kind of casual, but maybe not. Maybe it's serious. And so that he sent that photo out of him and Shuli. I'm sure it's backstage at the comedy show. And he writes, this was contract talks in Shuli's office to join the Shuli network since Brennan doesn't understand how he has actual talent on his show. So he's calling himself the talent on his show and pretending that Shuli's going to want to hire him and he's going to move over to the Shuli network, which of course is bullshit. And it's just Chad being Chad, trying to get attention, pretending there's negotiations. That's the other thing too. These guys are all playing show business. I get it. MLC is doing very well with the super chats. Chad is not. Shuli, I love you, Shuli, but I mean, you know, this is not like big money we're talking about. This is not big money. And the fact that there's contract negotiations or any of this is insane. They gave Ray DeVito a show. I love you, Ray. They gave Ray DeVito his own show. This is not show business we're talking about. These guys are pretending to be in show business. It's fun. We're all having fun here. That's great, guys. But come on, let's be real for a second. Okay. So now we're going to move forward. There were other things that happened over the weekend. We're going to move forward now to MLC on Monday. And remember, Chad quit the show. And then he posted about how, I don't know, it was kind of vague. Maybe Kevin didn't want him on the show anymore. Maybe he quit. Maybe he's going to go to the Shuli network. We don't know. The last thing you can do, though, after that, is show up on Monday, because then it would just be like, oh, it's just another fucking work. And why is anyone paying attention to this shit? Because it's all just horse shit. And then here it is.
Chad was saying over the weekend that this, the MLC thing is not a work. But Chad don't even know what he's doing, because obviously if he's here today, it is a work. So anyway, let's get him on, because he can only do an hour. I know he can only do an hour because then he needs to. Why don't you get an IV drip? I mean, fucking your boy Melton wakes up at 5 a.m. To troll Steel Toe. 5 a.m. Vegas time. It was 8:30 at my house. It's 5:30 in the morning. But you want to do an hour a day. Max, floor is yours, Zumock.
Addicted to Profits. On Shuli's show today, Ray said I was a great guy, and Chad said I was okay. Okay, after the money I spent here on Chad's show, any super chat I give in the future, I want none going to Chad. All right, fair enough. I don't have to pander and kiss people's asses. I'm just not doing it.
So Chad shows up after having quit the show and getting fired 3 or 4 times in the last 72 hours. And he comes on the show, and immediately it's like, all right, Chad, what do you got to say for yourself? Because obviously this was all work. So what do you have to say? And he immediately starts to read a super chat. And it's this guy Addicted to Profits who gives these shows a lot of money. And of course, Chad's like, I don't fucking even care about this guy. I don't give a shit. Great attitude, Chad. Good luck with that. We'll see how that goes. So Chad and Ray were on the BS show, which is Bob and Shuli, earlier this day, this Monday. And Kevin didn't know about this. He's just learning about it. So there's going to be some things that come out about that Kevin's going to have a problem with. But this is Chad explaining why he can't do the show 4 days a week like he was. It's just too difficult, guys.
I was talking to Bob. I was talking to Bob this weekend. It's like it's a hard show to do. It's hard because I don't know
if I'm going to set you off or I don't know what makes you mad, Kevin.
Don't worry what makes him mad.
Like, I don't know. Choke you through the Zoom?
Kevin's face right there as Chad's explaining, I don't want to get you upset, Kev. I don't know. Maybe sometimes I say the wrong thing. I was looking at him like, what are you, fucking retard? This is hilarious.
Like,
what am I going to do? Choke you through the Zoom? What do you give a fuck for?
But you're going to get
don't
mad.
have to deal with it, huh?
I do got to deal with it because I got to deal with
Bob Levy for life. I was away for the long weekend since Thursday night, and so I've been trying to catch up on the drama today. First and foremost, I'm so upset with Shuli. He 100% encouraged that trash Tampa Piazza to dox your number. Yeah, I'm not happy about that either, Bob Levy for life.
Shut up. I did nothing wrong. I did nothing.
He's talking about Shuli.
Stop jumping the gun about doing shit wrong.
No, you did do something wrong. You did do something wrong. You were the one texting Calta, Kevin wants to bury the hatchet, whatever day that was.
I wanted you to squash it so you can come down here. I want to see
you. But not then. But you
decide for me when I didn't tell you to do anything like that. I don't need to go to fucking Tampa.
I said
it's hot. It's hot here now. I'm fine here.
But you like side splitters and you're.
I don't give a fuck. You think I'm gonna fucking bow down to the fat fuck Calta?
All right, so Chad fucked up because this whole thing where Chad's gonna try to like mend. Chad's not a person who brings people together. That's not what Chad's strong suit is. It's not his skill set. So he's like, hey, I just wanted you and Mike Kelta to be buddies again. And I listened to this Mike Kelta interview with Shuli when they brought up Kevin Brennan. And Mike Kelta even said, he goes, listen, I wasn't even going to bring up Kevin Brennan. My audience doesn't know who the fuck he is. He's been on the show twice. He hasn't been on in over 5 years. No one even knows who he is. But all right, Chad's texting me about it. I know you got a thing with him, Shuli. Fine, we'll bring it up. And Kevin's going, why is anyone talking about me on this show? I want nothing to do with this. I don't represent Shuli or Chad Zumock or your stand-up show. I don't care about side splitters. He's not looking to get a weekend of side splitters, Chad. You know that. I watch enough MLC to know that myself. But I don't know. Chad's kind of a dumb guy. I shouldn't just assume that he should know better. All right. We got to fast forward here. As I mentioned, Shuli had Chad and Ray on the BS show, which is basically MLC minus Kevin. And it's not like Shuli to copy someone's show format, but it seems like he's maybe copying the show format a little bit because he's basically bringing in Bob, Chad, and Ray, and he's hoping that there's all this controversy and debate and, let's get people talking, and the BS show will be part of this whole MLC universe and everything. And I'm sure that's working. I'm sure it's working fine and it's great. So what Kevin's doing now is he's live streaming in the morning by himself because what Kevin has realized is that anytime he's online, people will super chat him. And it's very profitable for him to just turn on his webcam and chat. So this is him. Now, what we're going to see is that Kevin's going to start a beef with Shuli. I think this is the next chapter. We'll see how this plays out. But I think that now what Kevin's decided is that, here's an opportunity for me to act like I'm pissed at Shuli because when he was on Mike Kelta's show, they gave out my number.
Chad's going, they were talking about the Calta thing. Chad goes, people were blaming me. I had nothing to do with it. Chad literally started it. Pinkman literally started it by texting Calta that I want to bury the hatchet, I guess last Wednesday. And then on Thursday, he gave out my number in front of Shuli. And Shuli, the cuck that he is, just sits there and lets him give out the number, even though Levy tells me, Shuli loves you. Oh, that's okay. But so what? He just sat there, let him give out the number. What was I supposed to do? Just go like, that's kind of a bitch move to give out the number? Then even yesterday on the BS show, Mike Morse goes, well, what happened when the show was over? Did he say it? Was it weird? And Shuli was like, no, I just said, thanks for having me on. No mention that, you gave this guy I love, Kevin Brennan, you gave out his number right in front of me. Basically made me look like a fucking cuck.
All right. So obviously we're starting to see what's happening here. Kevin is setting his sights on Shuli now. And so he continues on with this solo cast that he's doing, and he's taking super chats. There's a guy named WATP Kevin, and it's a photo of me on this YouTube channel, or this YouTube user. And WATP Kevin is the name of the person who's super chatting Kevin. Kevin loves this guy.
Seems like Shuli is looking to sign Chad to the Shuli network. That's fine. God bless. God fucking bless. And you know what? I'll still pay Chad more than Shuli does. That's just a fact. Because he's not going to pay them anything. He's going to give them, I think the deal is after Google takes 30%, they split the super chats with the Shuli network. So after 30%, they get half of 70%. So I pay guaranteed money. That's all super chat. So people will watch that show for a couple of weeks. I'll probably watch it too. And then, Ray will get depressed because Ray doesn't like conflict either. And so Ray will be like, I don't want to do it anymore. So then Chad will think like, oh, this is going to be a gravy train. And plus Chad will fuck it up anyway. Chad fucks up everything. WATP Kevin. He's one of my favorite new people.
Right.
I'm taking notes because I'm going to put this guy in my Ring of Honor because I like the kind of this guy's jib.
Yeah, I can tell you do. Okay, so now with this controversy that Chad's going to the Shuli network, which who knows? I doubt it, but maybe it is interesting to hear the business model there. And I don't know if this is true or not. I've never been in negotiations with the Shuli network, but it sounds like what's happening here is that Shuli is taking half of the money that you make from super chats when you're on the Shuli network. And when you're on the Shuli network, it's just like being on your own channel on YouTube, except for it says Shuli network underneath. So in some ways, it's kind of worse. I don't know. What do I know? I could be totally wrong about this. I'll probably get a text from Shuli as soon as this comes out telling me I'm totally wrong about this. But this is what Kevin is saying, that business-wise, it doesn't really make any sense because Kevin's paying people more money. I think there's more money coming in over there, at least for now. We'll see what happens. So then this gets really weird because Kevin starts to check in on Patrick Melton's live stream because he wants to see who has more people watching them. This is in the morning time. Does Steel Toe, Nobody Likes Onions, or Kevin Brennan? Who has the most viewers on here? And so this gets a little surreal right here.
Chad just called into Melton saying you're insane for going live. Right. Let's see where Melton is. Wait, somebody sent me a text. Oh, Dan Filato. Yeah, I can work at my own pace. Let me see where Melton's at if I'm insane for going live.
So he's on his phone looking up Melton's YouTube channel right here.
What's it called? Nobody Likes Onions?
All right, he's looking at his phone. He's pulling this up.
Okay, he has 237 people watching.
Now, Melton is watching Kevin's stream. He's sniping Kevin. And now Kevin's going to watch Melton watch him. So you can
He's like
hear,
literally watching me, and now I'm watching him. He's waving to me.
You can hear Kevin's voice coming back to him.
Now 238 because I'm on. This is fun.
Kevin's smile right there is so funny to me because Kevin's not a happy guy, but he just seemed genuinely to be enjoying himself for a second there. He's like, hey, look at me. I did a live stream unannounced, and I have more viewers than Steel Toe or Melton right now. And Melton is watching my show. So that's kind of weird. That's kind of fun. So Kevin's talking about how he is going to start doing 5 days a week. He wants to do morning shows by himself and then Misery Loves Company. And he's got some ideas. He's got big, grandiose ideas. This is what happens when your show catches on. You go from 1 day a week to 2 days a week, like I did. And sky's the limit, I guess, is what's going to happen. So now we fast forward to that afternoon. So that was from Tuesday morning. Now we're going to, oh, and I should mention that the reason why Kevin's changing his tune here is because he didn't realize that the BS show had Chad and Ray on it until he learned about it on Misery Loves Company. So then he got a chance to watch it. Then he came on his Tuesday morning live stream to bitch about it. And so now he's going to continue to be upset about that when he goes on Misery Loves Company that afternoon. And Chad is off the show at this point again. And this is Kevin, who's continuing his feud with Shuli. You can tell this is what he's really focused on now.
Did Shuli call me? I'm not going to take Shuli's fucking call and have him explain to me, well, you talk shit about this guy or you gave out his phone number. I'm done. I'm done negotiating with fucking terrorists and pieces of shit that think that I work for them. Shuli, I don't work for you, motherfucker. I'm not on the fucking Shuli network now or ever. And you can have Chad and Ray DeVito, those two fucking losers from Ohio. And yeah, and should I pay them? Should I pay them their salary and then you get their super chats? Because that they get a platform here. I'm still paying Ray DeVito more than fucking Shuli pays them. And so now I'm supposed to pay Chad and let them do a show on the Shuli network, and then Shuli can get the super chats. So fuck that. Chad's done here. Chad's done here. Chad's sitting there yesterday on the BS show saying, well, I don't know where we're still negotiating. The negotiations are over, motherfucker. You're done.
All right. So obviously Kevin is upset with Chad. He's upset with Shuli, and he seems to be legit and genuine. We'll see. I don't know. I can never think anything is real on this show. You know, the fact that Chad's fired from the show now, we've heard this before, obviously. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, Kevin does bring us some good points about Chad here.
Chad's a piece of fucking shit. Chad won't take responsibility for anything.
No, but
he says I got a black guy, makes up two different stories, and he's like, yeah, neither one was true.
It didn't make sense. I still don't know what the fuck happened that night, or fucking it's probably the guy that delivered the coleslaw that fucking fucked him up because he didn't tip him. I have no idea. I don't know what to believe anymore. You know, but I talked to Chad the other day and he seemed to understand what the fuck was going on. And I said, nothing we talk about goes out. Melton goes on and says, you got a text from Chad saying, I'm on 2 days a week. Isn't that something I just fucking said not to say? Why do you got to talk to everybody? You know what I mean? You can't act like
he thinks he's playing us. He thinks he's playing us. Like, we can't do the show without him. The show will fail without him. I went out by myself this morning. I got more views than Melton did or Steel Toe.
Yeah. So you can see that Bob is frustrated because Bob is literally trying to keep this thing going. And he's talking to Chad. He's like, Chad, we were having conversations behind the scenes. Don't tell anyone. And then Chad's texting Melton, and Melton should know better, but I guess who cares? I mean, if I had information on Chad, I'd get it out there too. So at this point, people are, I think, genuinely annoyed with Chad Zumock. I hope. I would be. If this were my show, I'd be at the point where I'm like, okay, this is too much now. This guy makes up stories all the time, doesn't take any responsibilities, fucking things up behind the scenes, talking out of school. I can't have it. So now that show goes by. Wednesday's show, which, by the way, just happened a couple hours ago. Wednesday's show comes up, and Kevin has a big announcement. Again, no Chad here. Kevin has a big announcement about what he's going to do.
It was headline Shuli. I think you're familiar with Shuli, everybody. Shuli was...
this is an email, I should say. Let me set this up better. My bad. Kevin got an email from somebody that I guess we all would know, and he's going to read it to us.
It was headline Shuli. I think you're familiar with Shuli, everybody. Shuli was expecting Ray to go to Pottstown to hang out, to pay for his own way to show support of the Shuli network, and to do no time. Fucking insane. I told you more than once, Shuli is a snake, and after this, he's a scumbag, conceited piece of shit. He thinks he's a star maker. Ray has views because of you, not Shuli. That's an official guy. I know the guy. So that being said, I'm starting my own network, everybody. Adam, make a sound effect. I'm starting my own network.
Wow, look at this. Kevin's got a network now.
The Shuli network too?
No, I'm starting my own network because, first of all, I have to hire somebody else, and because once summer comes, I'm probably going to do a morning show and an afternoon show. So Adam can't keep up with that. So I need to hire somebody to run the super chats anyway. So I already got my eye on this one guy, and and the Shuli Network is, listen, he's a Jew broad, and things are going to happen. So
we're all Jew broads. We're all Jew broads.
I'm gonna have Ray on my network. I'm gonna steal him from the Shuli Network because I'm already paying more than Shuli pays him. You guys are disrespecting Ray heavily. And also, I'm going to have my own Stuttering John show starring Stuttering John.
Oh, this is a big announcement right here. Now, I happen to know for a fact, because I've seen this on Twitter, that John and Kevin are communicating. There is some back and forth going on. And it's not the fake Stuttering John that's been fooling a few people here and there. This is the real Stuttering John and Kevin Brennan having conversations about doing a show. And I'm intrigued. I want John to return to podcasting, as everyone knows. So let's see what this is all about.
Whoa, I like it.
Yeah, so he's been reaching out to me to get on the show. He wants to know how much I'll pay him. I'll just give him a fucking show, Bob. How do you like that? And then we can watch, me and him can watch you watch him.
I like it. I like it.
And then Stuttering John reading super chats. That wouldn't be a smash hit.
Well, it'll be a 7-hour show, but I like it.
It'll be a smash fucking hit. So I'm starting my own network. No applications necessary. We already have my eye on this one guy, and so I can hire, because I was gonna try to hire him to do the super chats on a weekend, and I'm already in whatever. I'm not in business with the guy, but he seems pretty reliable. And the other people that reached out about reading super chats, listen, it's very complicated because once you read the super chats, the reason Chad couldn't read the super chats because Chad's human garbage.
By the way, what he's talking about here is not just reading super chats, but having access to the back end, so you can pull them up on the screen and you can kind of produce the show as it's happening. And Chad used to want that. I mean, he probably still does. Responsibility, and Kevin's saying, no, you can't handle that responsibility. I'm going to back it up a little bit because this is a very good point. And again, Kevin knows Chad better than most people.
Chad couldn't read the super chats because Chad's human garbage, and Chad will turn on you in in a split second, and then hijack your whole fucking network. So it's have to be someone that we kind of know, kind of trust. And that's how it has to be, because they basically, once they have access to super chats, they have access to literally everything.
So I think he's joking about the network. I don't know, but he's definitely serious about getting more people involved on the back end side, because Kevin is going to start really overexposing himself. He cannot wait to just be online 24/7 making money. And I get it. You got to make hay while the sun is shining. I understand that. But I do think that there is a thing where it's like, well, do I need to tune in to see what Kevin's ranting about this morning? He'll be talking again this afternoon and then again tomorrow morning. And how much news is happening in the background during all of this? And I should mention that I forgot to hit the video record button. So a lot of this show, unfortunately, when I put it up on YouTube, you won't be able to see it. Although it's not a visual thing anyway, except for my buddy Sad Chad here. Some art from the great Troy Smith put together for us, and that it hangs up on our wall here in the studio. And I wanted to make sure the Sad Chad was a part of this. So listen, if Chad Zumock is back on MLC anytime soon, I think Kevin loses any credibility he has left. I think we can all agree on that. And frankly, I think he's losing credibility all along the way. I mean, Chad's been fired and quit a half dozen times just in the past week and a half alone. So it's getting a little bit weird. It's getting redundant, as I said. It's redundant, as I said. It's like a Yogi Berra-ism or something. And so it's just to the point now where it's like, okay, you guys have got us all interested in this thing, but where are you going with it? What's it going to do now? Like, we hit WrestleMania, and now it's like, okay, now what? That was the big thing. Now what are you going to do? So I'll be tuned in and probably tuned out sooner than later. But that's my recap and update on the Chad Zumock saga that's been going on here since at least, October? We've been talking about this. And it's been interesting. Even people at first who were like, don't talk about Chad, have come around and realized this guy is insane. Okay.
Who are these podcasts? WATP.